In this 2-minute guide, I'm going to talk to you about the second step in the process of managing your learning. The first one was to get organized. The second one is to prioritize. And this means to make a decision on what is important and what needs to be done first. Now, to help you prioritize, you should have a clear and manageable learning goal or goals and know what you have to do to achieve these goals. And that means being organized, of course. Now, knowing when work is due is one thing, but working out how much time you have to do it and which step you need to do first, so what is urgent, that is prioritizing. So, what do you do? The first thing is to keep a to-do list, and this is very, very important, and this list should be very short. You should only have up to 5 items, even less, depending on how much time you have, and you do this list every day. So there's no point writing down 20 things you have to do today when you won't be able to do it. Write 2 or 3 things, or 4 or 5, depending on the length of the task, the difficulty of the task, and do those things only. But it's important to have a to-do list every day, and you do something every day on that list, and then when you complete that, start the next list. And if you have, for example, 1 hour a day, well, do 2 things or 1 thing. If you have 3 hours a day, you could do more things. But it's important to have it and to stick to it, and you'll find you'll be far less stressed because you're breaking things down into much smaller components, and you'll always be achieving something, working towards the final goal. The next thing is to look at doing urgent things first. There's a difference between urgent things and important things. Urgent things are the things that have to be done sooner, for example, something that is due tomorrow or the day after, or because it is the first step and it's impossible to do the next step unless you do the first one. And that first step should be urgent. Even if an assignment, for example, is due 2 or 3 weeks from today, the first step is urgent because there are about 5 or 6 or more steps after that, and you should do the first step as soon as possible. So that becomes urgent. And of course, this goes onto your to-do list, and it should be the first item on your to-do list is the most urgent thing that you have to do. There are also important things, and this is homework, preparing for assessment tasks and doing assignments. They may not necessarily be urgent, but they are important things that you should do every day. So, it could be things like watching TV, for example. That is important. Relaxing, that is important. But also making sure that you find time to do your homework. You find time to do your schoolwork. So your to-do list takes care of the urgent things, and once you've done those, you move on to the important things. And finding a balance between these two is very, very important. It's not all about schoolwork, but you should find time to do schoolwork. And of course, setting goals helps you in that process. Be realistic, set goals that are manageable, that you can achieve, and start slow, for example. Set achievable goals and build on those. So, for example, if you want to, for example, win a 1500-meter race, you have to be fairly fit to do it. You're not going to say, yeah, my goal is to win it, and do nothing at all. Your goal is to win it, and your first step should be perhaps to become fitter, run shorter distances, change your diet, so you have a long-term goal and you know what steps you need to take to achieve that goal. If you're not sure what those steps are, ask. That's what year advisors are for, that's what your teachers are there for, your parents. There are many, many people you can ask for help in doing your goals, coming up with learning goals, for example. And finally, finding a balance between important things, urgent things, and things you have to do, and things you should do, and things that you enjoy doing. For example, if you spend 2 hours watching TV and then 2 hours on Facebook, you're not striking the right balance between schoolwork and the things that you enjoy perhaps doing. You can do everything if you plan ahead, if you manage your time and do not leave everything for the last minute. But finding the right balance will reduce stress, and it will help you stay on task long term. And by doing that, you will develop some really, really good study and learning habits that will come very, very handy while you're at school.